What is up, everyone? Hope you are doing well. Welcome back to another episode of the Daily Talkcast. Thank you all for tuning in, all the support. If you're a first time listener, welcome, welcome. Yeah, this one is going to be a little bit different than my normal episodes. I can't imagine it's going to be anything insane, but a little bit more of a serious note. And it's kind of more on the topic of motivation and not necessarily of like, oh, I'm motivated. I'm motivated, dude. Yeah, let's go. Like, I'm not trying to be Gary V at the moment. I kind of want to more touch on the part where that motivation kind of leaves and you get stuck in that rut of, you just can't muster up any sort of motivation to do anything. Whether it's, going to the gym, you just for whatever, like you're doing great. You're, months and, every day for a month, 2 months, or even a year or something. And then out of nowhere, it takes 1 or 2 days and you're just, you know, riding the pine. You're sitting, you can't do you can do anything and everything. But for some reason, you just can't find the motivation to wake up early that you usually have been doing or going after work or anything, can't go to the gym or m if you're an artist, you can't find that special little motivational spark for you to pick up that pen, that paintbrush or, opening up, Adobe Photoshop or Illustrator or whatever you use and kinda putting, that digital pen to paper or even if it's real paper. We all at one point in time, I think it happens to me at least a couple to a few times a year. And that might be even a modest number. It could be more, it could be lower, but like everyone goes through that time, no matter who you are, whether you're just someone working a 9 to 5 job and you have to go in, like that still takes motivation for you to be disciplined and wake up, get to work, do what you're supposed to do, what you're hired to do. And okay, cool. Could be from, 9 to 5 person, or, you could be, I don't know, someone insane in a very popular band. It's a terrible example. It is no, it's a great example. I just feel like why would I go to Justin Bieber? But, Justin Bieber, Tom from MySpace, or I don't know, The fucking Rock. Like, there's so many people, there's a different range of, people and their lifestyles and what they do. Of course, you already know this, but everyone has the motivation to get up and do what they do. Even a kid in high school, you kind of have, that's a terrible, terrible thing to say because waking up if you're a teenager going to high school, you don't really have the motivation to get up and go to school because, for most of us, we hated school. I did not have the motivation to go to school. The only motivation I think I had to get up to go to school was because, I get to hang out with my friends. So, anyways, whatever you're doing, you need to have motivation to do it. But we all go through this, you know, period of time, whether it's, a couple days, it could be weeks, months. Hell, I'm sure some people have gone through years of where they're just kind of, in this ditch, this rut that seems to be, a mile deep, a mile, lengthwise, mile deep, mile wide. There we go. They're in this like motivational pit, I guess you could say, or unmotivation. I don't even know. That's did not sound like a word. Anyways, you fall into this rut, this kind of this ditch that when you're in it, you feel like it is a mile deep, and a mile wide, where you just there's no equipment for you to build a ladder, and even if there was ladders, that shit's gonna take a long time. It's a hard place to be in. It's a hard thing to be in that motivational rut where you just can't even do like anything. The things that you love. For example, I love working out. I love hockey. I love photography, videography. I love graphic design. I love this podcast. And I go through a rut where all of those are affected. Maybe not so much the hockey because recently it's just been, since the move, I've been just watching it, and that's pretty easy. I can turn on the TV and have some beers. That's easy. But, you know, with me, when those happen, it's like I feel like I'm in that ditch where like I said again, a mile deep, a mile wide, and you just can't, for any reason, find the strength to climb out of there. Eventually, we all do. It does feel a lot longer than what it really is, but we eventually do get out of that hole, that rut, that little stint where nothing pops into your mind, and it fucking sucks. And I think that's one thing that also kind of affects it when we're in that little rut where motivation is just nowhere to be found. You can't find that thing if it bits you in the ass. It feels awful. And that part gets you because you get down on yourself. And I mean, you can get, full on depressed. I know there's been times where I've been in one of those ruts and I've gotten legit like depressed. And that just kind of like throws fuel on the fire in the wrong way because now, one, you're already in the pit with no motivation and now you're depressed. And now you like don't even really have like the care to want to get out in a way. There's, when you're in a rut and like you're trying to find the motivation, that you need to be out of it. You like, hey, for example, like, hey, Danny, we're in this rut right now. By the way, I keep saying rut a lot. It's kind of the only word that I can kind of figure out besides saying like a rut, a pit or a hole or, whatever. It just this seems to be the word that I choose. Um, like, Danny, we're in this pit, this hole, this rut. We need to get out of it. It's going to be hard, obviously, but at least we can like self acknowledge it. But when you hit that point of where you kind of get depressed, you almost acknowledge yourself acknowledging that you want to get out, but you pull yourself back. It's almost like if you're in that hole and you have some like weird ass, like out of body experience, and you see yourself trying to like find a way out of that hole, but you like grab and tug on the shirt and like be like, no, bitch, get back here. Like, you ain't going up. So I do think that focusing on the part that where you like are zoning in that you are in this place where you have no motivation, that I think screws us even further and brings us down, and it makes it even harder to pull yourself back up. So I think that's one way we can kind of help ourselves if you find yourself in one of those little spots where you can't, find the motivation to do anything. Just remind yourself that it's going to be completely fine. Yes, it's going to be a bummer. Of course, if it's something for work or a job or something, that might be a little bit more of a tighter situation because, you're dealing with deadlines that have to be met. I mean, I've been there, whether it's been on, tour with bands or hell, I mean, the job that I work at right now, or I mean, I know I have the podcast and that's not ran by anyone else but myself. But I mean, I try and hold myself accountable on when I put things out and what I need to do. So try and figure that out and be like, hey, don't get down on yourself. This is a spot where we don't want to be. And it's a bummer that we're here where we don't have the motivation or drive to do anything. But wallowing on it and, kind of getting sad to yourself and or even angry to yourself is not going to really solve anything. It might just make it even worse. Just to kind of like give an example of why I mean, the reason why I wanted to do this podcast episode is like a week or two ago, I was sick for basically, I don't know. I went to work on Monday and I did a half day. So, I mean, if you want to call it, basically almost the entire week, I was out sick, which in turn, means I was not at the gym. And if you don't know me, I love working out. It's my favorite thing. I'm a gym rat. I love working out. Not only do I feel good, it makes me I'm just healthier, but you look good. You look good, you feel good, you feel good, you look good, and you do good work. But I got sick And it's a bummer because everyone gets sick and you fall into these things and it sucks. But anyways, I got sick and I was out for a lot longer than I even anticipated. I was like, "Oh, I'll be out a day, day and a half. I'll be back. Like we're good." But no, I was out for the count. Like I think Sunday I was feeling okay and I was okay enough to go back to work. It wasn't COVID, don't trip. I'm all Gucci now. But yeah, was sick and that knocked me out of the gym. And for me, the gym is like a big factor on everything really that I do. It's something that I feel that motivates me even creativity. Whoa. It motivates my creativity as well. Like you obviously need the motivation to get to the gym. A lot of people, that's their struggle. And I struggle with that too. I definitely struggle with it. There was probably a couple days towards the end of me being sick that I probably could have and maybe should have went to the gym because it would have made me feel better. Because maybe towards the end, maybe it wasn't so much of me being sick, like actually sick. Maybe it was me in my head kind of just feeling like bummed, sorry for myself, just really didn't want to go in and put work in and sweat. But anyways, working out for me, the way it kind of goes is, all right, cool. I go do my thing, I go to work. After work, I go straight to the gym. I put in the work because one, I love it. I love plugging into my music. I love listening to the hardest fucking music you can. It's amazing. Sorry, mom, for the cussing. Sometimes it just slips out. I love going in, plugging in, listening to things that, drive me and putting in, that sweat equity, as we call it, baby. You know, put in the work, reps for Jesus, dude. Doing that. And then after you feel great. You come back, you have your nice meal, whatever it might be. I'm a big fan of, cheat meals. I usually try and keep that for the weekend. And then that in turn, I feel good. And, after a couple weeks, you start to see physical, you know, progress. You can look in the mirror and be like, oh, okay, like I can start to see that my time in the gym is paying off. And as well, I feel good. I'm healthy. I sleep better, because of your diet as well. Obviously, with all of that coming together, you feel good about yourself. And feeling good about yourself makes you want to do anything and everything you can because you feel on top of the world. The days that I am the most productive in like the gym, like before I had this job where it changed my whole workout schedule. Usually I would go first thing in the morning, wake up at like 5:36, go in for an hour, hour and a half, then barely enough time to eat, then go to the workplace. I'm still working it out with this new job because I go after work, but it just all comes together because you feel so motivated because you just even if it's not even a good workout and you don't feel good about your workout, it's still something to be proud of because it's like, this is something that I did and accomplished. I came here, I did something, completed it, and I left. And now anything you do from the rest of like from the rest of or for the rest of the day is easy. Putting yourself in an uncomfortable spot for gain down the road that you don't see right away is something I feel is very important, which is another thing that kind of adds to the part where you might fall into a rut. Working out in fitness is a very hard thing because you can't go to the gym and immediately see your gains. It's frustrating. It gets me all the time, multiple times a month. And it's frustrating. Of course, you want to go into the gym and you want to do a shoulder workout or of course you have the pump, but like the pump only lasts so long. But anyways, I'm getting kind of off track here a little bit, but the working out, it helps me because, it motivates me and keeps me healthy and it makes me feel good about myself. Of course I have friends and loved ones and all that that, they make me feel good. They're here for me. And I know not everyone can have that or does have that. And that's a whole different struggle that I can't really speak on because I don't know too much about that. But I'm sure you can get past it, and I'm sure you can find your own way to do it. It's going to be harder for you or someone else, completely different people. What I'm saying is kind of just my own 2 cents. Working out to feel better about myself, to be healthy, of course. I mean, duh. Maybe I should have said be healthier first. Working out to feel health or not, well, yeah, feel healthier, be healthier. Doesn't hurt to look good. I want to be jacked. I want to be ripped. I want to be sexy. I want the abs, all that shit. And that in turn kind of goes into your work because you feel motivated because you are just plowing through shit and you're able to, just continue on with that. So when I was sick, I wasn't working out. My diet went to shit. I, you gain, well, me, like, especially, I can gain weight so much faster than I lose it. And I'm not overweight or anything crazy. I enjoy my beer. So, there's a little bit there, but it's not crazy. I'm too hard on myself. I'll admit that as well, which isn't good, but keep yourself in check. I I definitely fell into a little bit of that rut where, I mean, just because I was at home sick, like there was still shit I needed to do. And like, I'm still even like trying to like claw myself out of this hole. Like, I think if I'm thinking of that hole that maybe is a mile high, right? If I were to have you imagine where I'm at on coming out of that hole, I think I got probably maybe 20 feet left to climb out. That's where I'm at. So I've done a lot of the work to get to where I'm at right now. And the thing is, it feels really, really good. But I feel like once you're almost out of it, that might be the hardest part because you're almost like comfortable enough to kind of like let yourself slip a little bit. Not on purpose, but it's like more like all right, like, all right, cool. I'm back on track. Like, all right, cool. Like, even if you have all of your stuff, like it's on time or you have no deadlines to meet within a very long time, you're like, all right, cool. I have enough time to kind of like chill, do nothing, like sit back and relax. No. Uh, 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 uh. You got to keep on your shit because I feel like once you let yourself slip, you know, say where I was at the 20 feet, right? 20 feet left to climb and I'm out of that hole completely. Say I stop at that 20 feet. I'm like, you know what? I think I might lift my feet up a little bit, step off, you know, let everything else do its thing. Cool. Then, then you start to kind of, back step, back step, back step, back step. And before you know it, I mean, you're halfway down. And you're like, how the fuck did I get back down here? And that's that kind of like cycle of like, ah, shit, how do I, like, you can't get out of it. You can't get out of it. And I apologize. I know I'm ranting and raving. There's so much that's on my mind about this because it's like I've dealt with this ever since I could really remember. I've always been a creative type. So like in that aspect, you can feel when you're in that creative rut, a motivational rut, creative rut, whatever you want to call it. Like say you're a writer, you like to write. Like, okay, well, there's a thing called writer's block. Same thing. So I think that, without working out, everything kind of domino effects and it all kind of suffers. And I don't like that. So what did I do? Okay, cool. I'm back at the gym. But the thing is, that doesn't solve my problem fully. Like, okay, cool. I'm back at the gym working out. I still have to go there and do the work. But the thing is, even missing basically almost like a full 7-day week of working out, I'm not going to be exactly the same physically, like strong and mentally. I guess I'm okay there. But like, I'm not going to be able to go in there and pick up the same amount of weight that I did literally like the week before because all I've been doing is sitting on my ass, having some Halloween candy and eating ramen and watching Netflix and Hulu. there's no way like that I can maintain the same gains, the same strength value that I had. So that's another thing that I have to think of is I have to go into the gym now. That's the first thing. I won that battle. I won the battle. I'm now at the gym. Cool. Now I need to realize that I'm not going to be in the same place that I did or that I was before. And that's something that, I mean, I'm still dealing with that today. I know it's not that long of a time period. Like it's only been, maybe a collective of like 3 weeks, maybe. But it's something that I'm gonna have to realize, or I am realizing that, I missed this amount of time, so I did fall back. It's like what I said with the whole, climbing out of the hole. I have 20 feet left, and I decide to slip back. Okay, cool. Well, you're not at that 20 feet left anymore. You're back to halfway down that mile long hole, and you now have to self realize that okay, cool. We're not at that 20 feet marker anymore. We're halfway. We're a long ways down again. We have to build back up. So that on its own is an entire battle that I have to keep in mind as well. And you might understand that, or you're like, shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. Or slow down talking. I don't know. I think when I get excited about things, I talk a bit fast. I was gonna do this yesterday and I just been nonstop thinking about this, doing this episode. So my brain is running a mile a minute. So I apologize. I hope you're sticking with me. I do want to say, I know that this conversation is not closed after this episode airs, or you're listening to it now. So of course it is live. I'm always down to continue conversations on anything that you've heard on any of my podcast episodes. So feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at It's Danny Todd. The same is for Twitter at It's Danny Todd. I also do have a Facebook group that I'm really trying to hone in on. Because I know I know Twitter and Instagram. It's crazy. It's weird. It's you know just everything flies by so quick. But I think Facebook might be a little bit more intimate. So you can always contact me there and reach out. I try and post things on there that you really wouldn't see on Twitter or Twitter, Twitter or Instagram. Excuse me. I believe it's just the Danny Toddcast. You might be able to search it up. Um, I will put the link to the Facebook group in the show notes. Um, so before I had some people reach out to me with kind of like how they go about it, I guess. Um, but in short, because I don't want to, go too crazy on this. The way I make sure I get myself out of it is, of course, I think of what I need to be doing. So say I'm, at the bottom of that mile long, mile wide hole. I have no motivation to do anything. How do you get the motivation to, well, I guess get motivation? I guess I kind of just think maybe a little bit more hard on myself than maybe I should, but I mean everyone has their own methods of doing things, and I kind of just think, hey, Danny, why are you being a little bitch? You know what you do. You're good at it. You love working out. You know how, proper techniques. You know your shit. You know, and this is, I'm not trying to be, boastful. I'm not trying to, pump myself up or anything, but, like I know my worth. I'm a good photographer. I'm a good videographer. You know, I'm a great, graphic designer. I love this podcast. I feel that I'm good at it as well. So I know my worth. I know what I should be doing to one, keep the baseline of who I am and what I do, but also, to keep growing. So like I think I try to put that in my head as soon as I can. Like, hey, like this is, you need to be doing this. Like you gotta be doing this. Like look at all the people doing all that. Like I think in a way that is a thing that social media is good for, is because you can go on there and with the decent mindset, or with a decent mindset, you can be like, oh, well, shit, look at that. that photo is sick. All right, cool. You know what? I'm gonna go learn that. Even if it doesn't see the light of day, I'm gonna go learn how that person did that photo editing trick, or I'm gonna Google it or YouTube it, sorry, and be like, all right, I'm gonna do a tutorial and look how they did this. Like there's little things that you can try and do that that's what I kind of try and do, especially if it's the creative aspect. You know, the creative aspect, I like I just said, I try, I guess. It's weird to say I try to go on social media. I'm fucking on it all the time. Um, like that's cool. I'm gonna try and learn to do that. Or it's, hey, you have a project that's due soon. So it's a knocking. Like, let's go. Like, you can't do this. I know you don't feel good. I know Netflix and Hulu and, Halloween candy is a lot more fun and relaxing than doing this because you have to sit at a desk and look at a screen all day. Granted, it is something that you love to do. You love being creative and designing stuff, but the candy bars, they're really good. So, sit on your ass and do that, or, get to work, you fall down the candy hole. That sounds wrong. I don't know. I try and put something in front of myself, whether it's just kind of like my phone on social media, looking at like photography, stuff that I like. So like it's gonna be different from me to you, photography, or even I follow a lot of fitness accounts. So like there's not a day that goes by that I will pass by some account where it's just some shredded ass dude or girl, and I'm like, damn it. If I didn't stop, I would have been on a much better path. And I know what I'm talking about is recently is it's a 2 to 3 week time frame. But there was a time where it was like a few months where I didn't go to the gym. And like right before I stopped, I was like at the lowest weight I was since high school. I was, not lying. I was shredded, the most shredded I've ever been, six pack. Like I was so just happy with myself in a good spot. And then, things happen and I fell off, and I mean, that was a bummer. And now I'm paying for that now, and it hurts because I know where I was. I think I'm like 225 pounds. I don't look like I'm 225 pounds, but I know that I'm 225 pounds. But I want to get back down to where I was, what I was just telling you, 190. I have a long way to go. And that's going to take a lot of motivation. So when I go on social media, I do see those posts and it fires my ass up. I'll write in my notebook the night before, which I usually try and do, night before in my notebook, the workout I'm going to do. I get to the gym the next day and I do what I wrote down. And I try and do that with my, creative work as well. So that's kind of the way I do it. I kind of force myself into a situation of like, either it's the project I need to get done because if I don't do it, I'm not going to get paid. That's obviously a bummer because that might force your hand into an end product that's not going to be as good as if you were on your 100% like God beast mode. But it's on track because if you don't finish it, well, one, you're not going to get paid. And chances are they're not going to come back for you to do the next gig. So I kind of do that, force my hand. Social media, I do find a benefit in that because I can go and look at the incredible artworks that I see online and the physiques of people that are working out, whether it's even a dude who's on steroids or not. I don't care. I just see, you know, all these crazy people looking incredible. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, there's no reason. Like I gotta get on the horse and start working. I feel like there's so much more I can elaborate on, but like doing the whole thing, talking to myself on this one, maybe, maybe next episode, not the next episode, like after this, but maybe the next time I talk about, motivation and getting out of this spot, this funk, this hole, whatever you want to call it. Maybe I'll do with a brother or, just anyone, a friend. So if you're listening to this and you feel like you would love to talk to me about this because you have some insight on it, or you just think you and I would have a good conversation, the social medias that I already mentioned before, holler at me. I think it would be fun. We'll do it because I think that would be very helpful. Like I said at the beginning, this is a different kind of episode. It's been on my mind for a while, and I figured why not, share what I was thinking or am thinking, and also get some other people's ideas on how to get out and whatnot. Which brings me to the next part. Some people did reach out to me on, I think it was just Instagram. Let's see. Yeah. I did a social media post, a story, whatever you want to call it. A story. Why did I say that? I know what it's called. Instagram story. I basically was saying, like, how do you get, like, we're all finding ourselves in funks these days. You know, finding motivation can get very hard, yada, yada, yada. How do you get out of it? And some people wrote back. Um, I didn't really vet these like crazy, not that long. One's a little bit long. I'll read that one first. And I will, my track record with reading, so I'll do my best. So, this person, a friend of mine, said, I usually go into a funk around this time of year. So, seasonal. There you go. Told you. Not that good at reading. My track record sucks. So, anyways, I usually go into a funk around this time of year. Seasonal depression, holidays, too much work, usually followed by a crash in work. My eating and workouts take a hit. Same here. And then that adds to it. So I've learned to try to find something to look forward to, a trip, a goal, something to try to keep me looking to the future, or finding a place close I've never been to and take pictures of. So they're a photographer. So okay, cool. Find something close by that you've never taken photos of and just go. So adventure photography is my fix when I'm in a funk. And for my eating, I usually need to eat fast for an entire day. Wait, I usually need to oh, sorry. Whoops. I usually need to fast for an entire day to try to reset because once I fall off, even once, it's super hard for me to be strict enough to just keep doing it. But usually a fast and cutting out sugar helps bring me back once I finally tell myself it's time, as well as if I've fallen off my workouts, if I can at least tell myself to do 5 push-ups every time I get up, it starts coming back. I feel like this was a ton of rambling, yada, yada, yada. That was the part where I didn't vet this at the end. So, um, yeah, so her kind of fixes, I mean, as far as the diet goes, she might need to do a day fast where, it's like, hey, whoa, diet's gone a little off kilter. We need to fast for the day, you know, dial it back down. We'll get that in check, you know, we'll do that. And then as far as, photography, like she was saying that, adventure photography is something that kind of helps her bring her back into that, trying to find these cool places that are close by and just going there and, photographing that, which helps. And I do love the 5 push-ups thing. I remember this must have been like 2 or 3 years ago. And this was when I was at that point when I was telling you where I was like 190 pounds, just the best I've been. And it was amazing. Anytime I would do, there was the ab wheel. And I don't know, I made sure I had to do like 50, but I would do like increments of 10. So like if I was editing, for example, I would like, okay, cool. I'm gonna do 10. And I would spread that out. Or for example, if I was watching a hockey game, go San Jose Sharks, in between periods. So 20 minutes goes by of the period. At intermission, I would do some ab rolling, or sometimes it would be push-ups, or both. Watch some more. Okay, break, cool, done. End of the game, you've done a lot of either push-ups or ab rolls. So like there's cool ways like that where you can be like, all right, hey, cool. Like set an alarm. Be like, okay, cool. Every hour, or I mean, every hour might be too aggressive for whatever you do, but like say like every few hours, it's like, all right, cool, do I mean, it could be as small as 10 push-ups. Hey, do 10 push-ups every 3 hours or something to get your blood flowing and feeling good, like you accomplished that. And then who knows, by the end of that month, you might be like, this that's like, I need more push-ups. That's not good enough. Like, kind of pushing yourself. You'll know your limits based off of just, well, who you are, how your brain works. Some people might need to start with 2 push-ups. You get off the couch, 2 push-ups. Or some people might, in this example, getting off the couch, every time you get off the couch, it'd be insane. You know, all right, 2 push-ups. Someone else might be like, all right, 20 push-ups, People are different. We all know that. I mean, sometimes we forget that. So comparing yourself to people is a little bit hard. I know that I said I kind of do that in a sense to kind of get my ass going via social media, but that's more of just like a look at what these people are doing. They are doing shit. You are not. So therefore, stop being a little bitch and go do shit. Boom. There you go. So someone else said that I reorganize, clean. It's like a reset, and it usually gets me out of my funk and on a roll to do more. And she kind of elaborated a little bit. So the thing is that whenever I reorganize or clean, it's usually something random, like the laundry room or my car, LOL. But somehow it makes me want to be that person who has my shit together, question mark. So then I'm like, yes, do all the things. I can understand that for sure. Is because when you I mean, all right, actually, you know what? I need to find the motivation to clean my car for sure. My car, I'm not like one of those people where like if someone like you're picking someone up in the front seat and you're like, oh, don't worry, like just put your feet down on it, like, and there's just like a mountain of trash. I'm not that bad at all. I just, I just need to clean it as a normal person. I need to clean my car. Okay. But when I do that, or like if I clean the house, the podcast studio, or even if I clean my bike or my camera lenses or camera, like I finish that, I'm like, what's next? Like, let's go. And even if I stop and I go watch TV, I feel like I just end up being like, okay, this is weird. I feel all jittery. Legs are like tapping, like just tap, 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 tap. Like, all right, time to get up, do something, find something else, go outside, go for a walk, anything. Your mind starts to click and you're like, oh, doing shit feels good. So that's a good idea. If you're feeling kind of in that funk, maybe just even if your clothes are clean, just throw all your shit, all your clothes into the wash because you're going to need clothes. So yeah, throw your clothes into the wash, have them go through a cycle, put them in the driver, throw them in the dryer. And then after, you get to fold shit or hang shit up. It's great. You have a bunch of clean clothes. They're out of the way. You've accomplished something, and then go on to the next thing. Learn to. I think something that also helps me out is, I mean, cooking. I absolutely love to cook, and obviously, when I'm in a funk, I'm doing ramen from a bag. Of course, it's elevated because I'm a fancy butch. It's elevated. It's cool. I put everything else into it. I can't tell you the last time I had ramen that it was just boiled water, put the noodles in, and then at the end, put the packet of seasoning in. That's it. I'm throwing miniature corn in. I'm throwing, green onion. I'm doing water chestnuts. I'm doing chili sauce, sriracha, hoisin sauce. Like, it's annoying almost. I'm, cracking an egg or two in there, hard boiling, I just can't stop cooking. But when I'm sick, that goes down a little bit and I don't do as much. But I think that when I do try and put together a full meal, that does help me because I feel, well, one, I'm eating a really good, nice, proper meal. But also, like, I feel accomplished that I did something. I turned all these random ass things that you eat into a bomb ass thing that you eat. I guess that's one way to put it. So yeah, this person says that they like to reorganize or clean, and that basically kind of just throws them into a place of wanting to be a person that has their shit together, and they just like start doing all of the things, and that helps them. Um, this last person, homie that I've toured with, he's been on the podcast as well. He says, I find something in life that's brought me down and let that fuel the fire. So he kind of drives from like, okay, say we're back in that mile deep, mile wide hole, right? There's going to be people that are going to find that motivation to get out on the fact of getting out and what they're going to do, right? Like, okay, cool. Like, I'm motivated to get out of here. I'm motivated. Let's go. I want to get out because I want to do this. What I'm gathering from what he's saying is he's finding motivation from things that have brought him down. And with the hole, you're in that hole and you find motivation because you are a mile down and you can't tell your ass from your hand. I don't even know. Oh, isn't it your ass from a hole in the ground? You know what I'm talking about. I'm doing this off the cuff. Don't make fun of me. If you laugh, great. You know what? That's fun. I'm here for a good jolly old time. He finds motivation out of the hole, the fact that he is in the bottom of bottoms and he's stuck there and he can't get out. And that, in fact, turns him into the person that does, shoot his way up the side of that hole and climbs his way out. So there's two different people, not two, but like in this instance, this person that has the motivation of what's on the other side because that's what I'm driving towards, a goal, rather than someone like, all right, well, there's something in here that's keeping me here. I need to get away from that. Which in turn, you end up at the same place and it's amazing. There's just, everyone has their own way of doing it. And I can't say one's negative or one's more positive than the other. I honestly at times have probably thought of that one, thing that he says, that he finds something that has brought him down in life and that, fuels the fire. I can't really think of an example at this moment, but there has been times where I think of, myself at the bottom of that hole, and the fact that I'm even in that hole, stuck there, and it's hard to get out, is the reason that I get out. So I don't know. I think it's some super self reflecting that anyone needs to do when they're in this point. I also kind of feel like, in a way, talking about this, it's a weird thing to talk about because it's such a, in a way, minute thing, because it's motivation. Why does everyone find it so hard to come out of motivate? Just motivate yourself, dude. Do it. You just got to, find the drive. Do it. Finding it is harder than you think sometimes. And when you're stuck in there, you beat down on yourself. And honestly, even sometimes when people are telling like, hey, you got it, brother. Like, yeah. Sometimes that doesn't help either, because then you're like, well, shit, dude. No, I can't. So I don't know. It's a weird thing to talk about. I know I've been all over the place. So I still hope you are, tuned in. If you are, thank you. And I would like I've said before a couple times, let me know if you have a specific way that you deal with, not being motivated. You're stuck in that hole, that rut. Just let me know. Instagram at It's Danny Todd, Twitter at It's Danny Todd, Facebook group, The Danny Toddcast. All the links will be in the show notes. Yeah, I honestly think that's probably a good place to stop, because I feel like I could keep rambling on and then I would just completely lose everyone. I feel like I even lost myself in some of these, but like I said, I was very excited to do this episode, and it's something that I've recently dealt with. So I felt like I wanted to chat about it. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the episode, and let's connect, and I will catch up with y'all next time.
The Danny Toddcast. Podcast.